Hey, what is up, guys? Kman234 here, and today we're going to be going over the top 5 quarterbacks in the 2019 draft. This is a pretty weak draft class for quarterbacks, but yeah, let's get into it. So in the number 5 spot, we've got Tyree Jackson. He's got great size at 6'7", 245 pounds. He's got the best arm in the draft, and apparently he can throw 60 yards on the run. And he's got pretty good mobility, as he had 5.1 yards per carry and 430 yards last year. I think he has the potential to be a pretty good quarterback, but he's also got some cons. Okay, so his biggest con is probably his decision making, as he tries to force a lot of throws when he's under pressure by the defense. And he also likes to lock on to his first read a lot, making his throws very predictable and easy for the defense to jump on. His pro comparison for me is like Ryan Tannehill with a pretty big arm, like give him Brock Osweiler's arm. I think his ceiling is Cam Newton, and he has a lot of potential. Alright, so next up we've got Ryan Finley. I think he's pretty accurate underneath, like on the short and intermediate routes, but his deep accuracy is questionable. He's a smart player who makes quick decisions, and he's got a pretty good experience being a fifth-year senior. He's got decent mobility, enough to avoid a pass rush and maybe pick up 3 or 4 yards, and he's 6'4", 208, which is pretty good size for a quarterback. Personally, I think he reminds me a lot of Josh McCown, as he's like, he can make all the short throws, but like he's not very reliable to like make a deep throw. I think Ryan Finley will drop due to his age, as he's like 24, turning 25 in December, and most teams don't see that as a good age for a first round quarterback. And I think he'll go maybe third or fourth. He could possibly rise to the second if he has a decent combine. And yeah. Okay, so I just realized I forgot a player, so we're going to turn this into a top 6. At number 4 now, we've got Daniel Jones out of Duke. He's got good size at 6'5", 220 pounds, and he's got a pretty strong arm. He's a smart quarterback, however, he can lock on to his first read a lot. He had a really good season this year. However, in his sophomore season, he wasn't that impressive. He's had a lot of fumble injuries, and he's not that durable, as he's been injured earlier in his collegiate career. I think he'll end up as a first rounder. He could possibly drop to the second, but considering how weak this quarterback class is, I think a team could reach on him within the Jones top 20. Really reminds me of Blake Bortles coming out of college, as he's got really good size and a strong arm, but his accuracy is a little shaky. And honestly, I think the Jaguars could be a pretty good location for him if they reach for him. Alright, so at number 3, we've got Drew Lock out of Missouri. I think he's got pretty good size at 6'3", and he has the ability to make all the throws. However, he doesn't always hit them. He's got a very strong arm and good poise in the pocket, and he puts good velocity on his ball. He's got good poise in the pocket, and he's not, the pressure doesn't get to him a lot. However, he can sail some passes, and overthrows receivers. End zone fades and touch passes are pretty hard, or he doesn't land them all the time, and they're often overthrown. And he'll need to learn to not lock on to his first read, as do most other quarterbacks coming out of this draft. So, I think Locke is probably the biggest hit or miss prospect in this draft. He has all the intangibles, but like Josh Allen, he's got pretty bad. His accuracy is below average, and he'll need to work on it a lot once he gets into the pros. And I think his pro comparison is Jay Cutler, because they have very similar arm strength, and accuracy. Alright, so next at number 2 we've got Kyler Murray out of Oklahoma, the reigning Heisman Trophy winner. He's a really good athlete with a strong arm. I think he's the fastest quarterback by far in this class. And he's pretty accurate. However, he can sail some throws, and sometimes he needs his receivers to adjust to catch his deep ball. He ran over 1,000 yards and 12 touchdowns in his career at Oklahoma, which is pretty good production considering how good of a passer he was as well. He doesn't have that many turnovers, with only 7 interceptions to 42 touchdowns this year. However, the biggest con inevitably is his size, as he's only 5'10", 195. However, many people claim he's 5'8" or 5'7". But yeah, I think he could play like Russell Wilson kind of, as they're both undersized quarterbacks with big arms and good mobility. However, we'll see. Durability will be a pretty big concern with them. I see Kyler Murray going anywhere in the top 10. And honestly, I know a lot of people have been saying it's not true, but I could even see him going to Arizona if they don't feel like Josh Rosen is the answer. He could slide if teams don't feel comfortable with this size. However, he's too good to drop out of the top 15. Alright, so coming in at the number 1 spot on my top 6 quarterbacks, I have Dwayne Haskins out of Ohio State. He had a hell of a season this year with 50 touchdowns and 4,800 yards and a 70% completion rate and only 8 interceptions. He's got good size at 6'3", 220 pounds, so no concerns there. And he's got a huge arms, which I think is second only to Tyree Jackson in this class. He's inexperienced, as he was only a 1-year starter at Ohio State. And one issue that I don't really think is a concern, however, a lot of quarterbacks from Ohio State in the past 10 years have not done so well in the NFL, such as J.T. Barrett. And a lot of people consider quarterbacks from Ohio State under Urban Meyer as system QBs. However, I see him going anywhere in the top 10. I can't see him falling out of there, though. Alright, so that's going to wrap up my top 6 quarterbacks this draft. If you don't agree with my opinions, just comment down below what you think who you think your top 5 quarterbacks are. And yeah, like this video and subscribe for more football content and maybe even some basketball. And yeah, see you guys later.